FableThan here, and welcome to part 12 of our art journey. As I'm recording this, you might hear some rain in the background because it's raining outside, and for this week, I am trying out two different things. First, I am cutting back how many videos I am putting into this series, so particularly I am doing one video this week. I did two last week, just to kind of play around with it. I don't want to set myself to such a rigid schedule of 3 videos a week just because I feel more comfortable kind of keeping it loose. Don't worry, it's still going to be on that intended Tuesday, Thursday, Friday timeline. However, I am going to make sure that there is at least one video being posted a week in this series. Ideally Tuesday, just kind of looking at the past couple of videos, it seems like Tuesday or Thursday is the best times for my videos, and Saturdays are, interestingly enough, the worst time. You'd think that on the weekend, you know, people would be more likely to kind of be able to have the freedom to watch. I guess maybe it's just because on the weekend, the higher traffic means that YouTube is trying to spread it out to more people, but I don't really know. Again, this is really more for my art journey rather than how well these videos do individually. It's just kind of an interesting thing I've noticed. Just kind of how YouTube works. Like, my last video, I think it only got pushed out to my subscribers, which is very interesting. Because, like, yeah, it's not getting a new audience, but I think it's really awesome to see that there is a consistent amount of you actually coming back and actually wanting to watch some part of this video, which I really appreciate. You know, again, I call this our art journey because I really wanted to kind of build a community presence on my channel, and since I really wanted to make this channel my art channel, you know, seeing people actually interested in the original characters I come up with, that means something, you know? I kind of went off tangent there, but there is a second thing I wanted to do this week. I can't do it fully this week because I am very busy. You know, certain things are coming up. But what I wanted to start doing is that I've had kind of a bigger project kind of in the back of my head for a while. Well, I had a few projects, but one of the things you're going to realize is that as many projects as you have, it's better to kind of compartmentalize some of them that like might take longer or might need more work or more assets that aren't available to you, and kind of save them for a later date. And, you know, instead I'm going to be focusing on doing the projects that I can do. So this is going to be the start of our first major project. I might change the name around for these videos because the next couple of videos are all going to be related to this project. Not every video in this series is going to go straight into the project itself, but it's going to kind of help me work into getting the project to where I want it to get. Specifically, you know, artistically, like a specific art design. And you could probably tell what that project is from this drawing, or again, it might not be as clear because part of this art journey is me improving my art, but I want to work in designing robots and animatronics. I've always been a huge fan of the Five Nights at Freddy's series. I very much like the idea of kind of the horror aspects of like turning like a Chuck E. Cheese place into kind of a robotic nightmare. And granted, I am trying to stay away from drawing too many characters that aren't my own original characters on this channel, because on my main channel I've sometimes ran across this issue where like sometimes I felt like people weren't really watching the videos for the input I put in, just more they were clicking on it because it was for some other larger topic, like if it was a larger YouTuber or if it was a different series, which I still enjoy doing that, but like I really wanted to branch myself out, which is partially why I'm making the second channel. So, you know, again, I'm drawing an animatronic-like character, but it doesn't necessarily mean that this character is, you know, from the FNAF series or from another iconic animatronic series. Again, I don't think this character is going to be in that bigger project that I'm working towards. And again, as you can tell, I'm being very cryptic on what that project is. It's very early in development, so I don't want to spoil too much. But I will say that whatever this project is, it does require a lot of understanding of how animatronics look and how they are designed. So that gives you a couple of ideas of what's, coming along the way. And for future videos in this project, I am going to be changing up the style. Usually the first 12 or so videos of this series, I've been doing either time lapses or just kind of recording my drawing on my phone, of me drawing on my tablet. But in future videos that are coming out, I am going to be doing more art studies. I'm going to be looking at, specific animatronics for reference, not just from like Five Nights at Freddy's or other series, but also from the real world. I want to kind of understand their proportions, understand, certain things that make them uncanny, understand kind of how the robotic parts look, how they function, how they move. Because I think those are all going to benefit this project that I'm working towards in terms of how I'm designing it. And yeah, that's really all I have to say. If I had to talk about the art piece itself, I originally was going to make this an animatronic walrus for some reason, with like a top hat and a tie or a bow tie, but I realized that the top hat and bow tie felt very like Five Nights at Freddy's, like, Freddy Fazbear kind of look, so I kind of moved away from that. And two, drawing a walrus is really weird. Like, drawing a realistic walrus is pretty easy to do in my opinion, in terms of like, how other animals look. But like trying to translate that into an animated character without it looking kind of flat is kind of weird. So instead I tried to switch it up to a dog. I'm gonna call it a beagle, but I'm pretty sure this is not a beagle, it's just some kind of, generic mutt. But yeah, that's really all I had to say. I don't really have a particular reason for the clothes choice or the design choice. And again, I don't think this character is going to show up in the final project. I'm just using this as a reference to be like, okay, this is the basic understandings I have of what goes into animatronic design, and as we go on, hopefully we see some kind of progress or evolution to it. Again, I apologize for my voice. Lately I've been dealing with headaches, and it's like early in the morning, so I got kind of that like gravelly morning voice. And yeah, again, this has been FableThan. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and thank you all for watching.